Hello. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Navid. Today we're going to do a beginner oud lesson. And first things first, I want you to let me know how long you've been playing the oud for, maybe where you're from, what's your music background, anything you want. And let me know how long you've been playing the oud, if you have not started to play the oud yet. Let me know when you're planning to get one, if you're thinking about it, anything you want. And feel free to put down your questions in the chat, as I will be making some time to answer. First, while you get that information out there, just put that in there. I'll be playing some music, and just enjoy. All right, thanks for putting out your little comments. Thanks so much. If you have any questions along the way, let me know. So recently, well, first things first, let me mention a couple things that's going on this month. So this month I decided to put out a new volume of Easy Oud Songs. So in March, I'm working on production right now to put out this course. In March it will be released, and I've also opened up enrollment for Easy Oud Songs Volume 1. Easy Oud Songs Volume 1, you can enroll in that now. And there is the opportunity to get Easy Oud Songs Volume 2 at a discount pre-sale price, as it's going to be released in March, end of March. So check that out. The link is in the description. You can get all the details there. Easy Oud Songs Volume 2 is going to feature songs by Farid Al-Atrash. And it's going to be very cool, very exciting. And it's going to be a deep dive into some of the music of Farid Al-Atrash, the King of Oud, as he's known in some parts among some people. And yeah, so check the link out in the description and check that out if you're interested. And let's see here. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that later. Right now, what I wanted to talk about is something that has come up across in my private oud lessons, and it's quite an important thing. But if you start to understand this, it can help you apply certain right-hand techniques that you use a lot in oud playing. So this is what we'll talk about today, talking about the logic and the principle behind what strokes to use when you're playing a passage of melodies, let's say a string of 16th notes, or a long phrase of melody. So for example, to keep things simple, let's start with the C major scale, just to set things up for any of the beginners out there. So we have C on the A string, then we have D, then we have E with the first finger, we have F with the second finger, and then we have G, and then we have A with first finger, and then B natural with the third finger, and then C. So let's say there are three methods of going up and down this scale using right hand strokes. The first method would just be to play downstrokes all the way. Very fast downstrokes. Very easy, very straightforward. This is very useful. In oud playing, it's important to develop the ability to play downstrokes very quickly. Something like this. You can just practice that very simply just on open strings if you need to get practice at doing that. That's one method. The next method is the method that I've used for many years until I discovered the third method. The second method is more of an old school oud method. And it's the rule is that every time you change a string, every new string that you play a downstroke. So if we apply that logic to the C major scale, then we start on C with a downstroke. The next note is a D, and we can play that on the open string, so it would mean that we'd have to play a downstroke again. Then E and F are on the same string, so we can do alternating strokes. After a downstroke, we can logically play an upstroke on E, followed by another downstroke on F. So the first four notes would be down, down, up, down. And where this makes a lot of sense is that you're already playing a downstroke on C, and then your hand is just following through to hit D. So it's like one swift movement. And then it's very easy to play an upstroke on the way back to play the E. Then F is a downstroke. We already covered that. And the next note would be G, which is another string, a different string. So we would play a downstroke. And again, this follows the same logic where you play one stroke flow, one movement, and you can hit two strings. Down, down. So it's kind of like doing one stroke and getting two notes. So you do down, down, up, down, down. You can see how that can get a lot of speed. And it's very fluid. It's very efficient too. And then the next note would be A after G, so it's on the same string as G, so we'd play an upstroke. B is also on the same string, so we can play a downstroke after that. And then C is the last note, and it's in the same direction, it's in the downward flow, so you can just play down, down. So this is the second method of playing oud, and this used to be my default method that I used up until let's say 2012, 2013. I started to discover that some oud players were actually doing alternating, down, up, all the way through. And I thought this is something that I want to learn how to do, and it was very awkward at first because it means doing alternating strokes whether you're going up or down. And so usually what I would have done I would have played a downstroke each time I changed the string. So let's say going back down the C major scale, C, B. So C and B you'd play two downstrokes. Then A you'd play an upstroke. Then G you'd play down because it comes after an upstroke. And then F you would also play a downstroke because it's changing a string. Then E you would play an upstroke, and then D you'd play down because it comes after an upstroke. And then you change a string, so you play a downstroke. And this is also very efficient too, it works. But I discovered the third method using just alternating all the way through. And this is very efficient as well, but it takes a different technique and a different stroking angle. So one of the exercises that I always recommend people to practice right from the get-go when they start playing the oud is just playing down on C, up on G. Down, up. Just going to make sure my connection is good here. Looks okay. If there are any glitches or anything like that, let me know. Okay. So this exercise, just down on C, up on G. What it takes is a slightly different wrist angle. It's where you don't play into the soundboard. You kind of angle out so that you're able to come back and do an upstroke on the adjacent string. And usually this technique is only applied to adjacent strings. So you wouldn't do like down on C and up on A, for example. You could do that, but it's yeah, I've never really seen it happen. Usually it's going to be when you go from one string to a string that's farther away, usually it's down, down. But I suppose you could develop that technique too in theory. So what it looks like is just down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down. And there's a little exception here. The caveat is that we want to begin a phrase with a downstroke and end a phrase with a downstroke. That's the most strong way to start and finish. So usually, if you're doing alternating all the way, you just want to do the last stroke in the phrase or whatever melody you're playing with a downstroke. That way you close off and you start strong, you end strong. The upstroke is always weaker. But that being said, I do on occasion play up as the last stroke sometimes too. But I don't think it's the best practice. It works, no problem. And coming down, now it also works there too. I did an upstroke on C. But it's stronger, especially if you're playing a song with rhythm, to end that phrase with a downstroke. Yeah, so that's very important. So when whatever method you prefer, doing more downstrokes is method one. Doing a combination of down, down, up, or downs when you change a string, when you play on a new string, or whether you just do alternating. Choose which one you like the best and which one makes sense for you. But if you choose to do alternating, think about the following idea. If you're playing a song or a tune, you want to play a downstroke on the main beats of the rhythm. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say you want to do 16th notes all the way through those counts. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and on each of those 1, 2, 3, 4, the idea is that you should do a downstroke. You should never do an upstroke on the beat because it's not going to jive very well. The downstroke is our default mechanism to make music on the oud. So you want to always hit on the beat with the downstroke, no matter what. Usually that's the case. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to cover today. You can try out these scales, try out a different scale, maybe go to Nahawand. C, D, E flat, first finger, F, third finger, then G, A flat, B natural, and C. And then try those different methods. Down, 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 or down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. And then try it backwards too. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. Or try alternating. Down, up, 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 down. Something like that. Give those kind of scales a try. Use different scales that you know, maqams you know, and give that a try and see which way you like. So now I'd like to take the time to show you a couple of these new Farid Al-Atrash songs that are going to be featured in Easy Oud Songs Volume 2. These songs are really great. Farid Al-Atrash was known for one, his oud technique, his oud playing. He was a great composer, composed a lot for film and all this kind of stuff. His tunes are very catchy, very simple too, but they never really feel like he's repeating stuff either. I really like some of his songs. They're very catchy, very danceable, so they're great songs to know. And they're always, my students' favorite songs, especially this one, Layla. This is a great tune, and I'd really love for you to learn it with me. It's in the Hijaz scale, or Hijaz Maqam. So Hijaz, we have a very large interval here. We have D, E flat. Now it's written E flat, but if you listen closely to some players, they'll play it slightly sharper. I play it slightly sharper than a normal E flat. Then the F sharp is just major third. Very sweet sounding, very harmonious in relation to the D string. And then you have G. A, B flat, C, and D. Now, Maqam Hijaz also has another section. When you go up to the octave, sometimes B half flat is used. This little sharp B flat. So here's your B flat. Here's your B half flat. So this is important when going to the octave. Creates energy and some dynamics when you play it. And then when you descend Maqam Hijaz, usually, in most cases, B flat will be used. So, beautiful tune. This one also has a nice rhythm attached to it. This little rhythm riff that I'm playing, it's very easy to play. I'll give it a try right now. It's C, D, 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 C, D, D. This rhythm is called Shiftatelli, and it's a great belly dancing rhythm, a great rhythm that's often in the background when somebody is taking a solo or something like that. It's beautiful, beautiful rhythm. Very easy to play. And usually you just play the open string of the tonic of the maqam you're playing. So give that a try. It's all downstrokes, very easy to do. Great for jamming as well. So a lot of these songs are really awesome for jamming. Another song that's going to be in there is what is this song? Doko al Mazahar. This one, pardon my pronunciation. This one is great. This is a great one. It's a bit slower. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice tune too, and it's very easy, very beautiful to play, and love to have you learn it in the next course. So now is a good time to get any questions you have out. Anything you want to know about playing the oud, something that's been bugging you for a while. I've got another maybe 5-10 minutes, can answer some questions. I always love to take questions because you never know what you're gonna get, and everyone has great questions that help not just themselves but everyone else too. And yeah, so please take a moment here to get your questions out. Thanks Dan for joining us today. Thanks Dawn, Noor, Carol, everybody, Fabio. Thanks so much for joining today. Really good to see you here. Question here. How do you spell the name of the composer you feature? Alright, here we go. I'll put it in the chat. Good question. Farid Al-Atrash. And there's different spellings in English, of course. So you will find multiple spellings. Great oud player. Check out his Takasim. His solos, his oud solos, they get quite flashy. I've done a few videos on him, on his taksim before, so check that out. Very good to know. Very important artist in the Arabic music scene. Interesting family history as well. His sister sang too. His sister was a great singer and she was very pretty as well. Yeah, great historical figure. So this oud, another question, what kind of oud are you playing? Thanks, I'm glad you think it's beautiful. This is a Turkish-made oud made by Yildirim Palabiyik. And yeah, it's a little bit flashy. Honestly, the flashy kind of ouds like this are not really my cup of tea. I like the classic, very monotone wood kind of colors. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's very flashy for videos and YouTube like this. It looks great on camera. You can see the the colors of the inlays and everything. They flash quite a lot. Yeah, this is a great oud. I like it. Now, it's a Turkish made oud, so it has its own sound. And might not be to everybody's taste, especially some Arab players, but I think it's got a very neutral sound. I really like the dark bass tones. Yes, and very bright, very loud. So I'm going to put the link to the Easy Oud Songs. It's open for enrollment only for the next 2 days now. For the next 2 days, the enrollment will close on Monday night at midnight. And so if you're an oud player, you've been playing for about 6 to 8 months, you will definitely benefit from this course. It's definitely would be appropriate for you. So definitely check that out, and let me know if you have any questions about it. You can always contact me at support@OudforGuitarists.com. And yeah, I'd love to hear more questions if you can think of anything. That'd be awesome. I'd love to hear some questions now. Still have some time. building a list of good composers and performers is a really good idea. Very important when you're starting to get exposed to music. Two other good artists who actually some of their songs are featured in Easy Oud Songs Volume 1 is Fayrouz and Sabah Fakhri. These two artists, they've recorded a lot of the traditional stuff, and this their music is played and played and played by amateurs and people who just love their music. Fayrouz, here's Fayrouz. How you spell Fayrouz? And then Sabah Fakhri. They're great artists for this kind of, everyone kind of likes their music, and they are very traditional, but with some modern stuff. Sabah Fakhri is more on the traditional side. Fayrouz is a little bit of a mix, a little bit of both. Her arrangements are a bit more modern though, of some of the traditional maybe muashat or that she does. Muashat is another form of Arabic poetry that is often put to song. That's a whole other genre of musical form. Carol, good question. For those of us who are already in Volume 1, yes, Volume 2 will also be available. I'll be sending the students an email about that. So yeah, good question. Yeah. So yeah, good to see you from Malaysia. Gilcorn, thanks for coming. Any other questions, anyone? I'd love to answer some questions about playing the oud. All right, a question about Dan from Dan here. There some of the philosophers from the Islamic Golden Age did take some ideas or borrow some ideas from some of the Greek philosophers. Good theorists are hard to come by their English translations, but here's one. Abu Nasr al-Farabi, he is one of the big ones. Another one is Al-Kindi. And the list goes on. I mean, if you follow this train, if you look up these individuals, though, it will bring you to other individuals who are important in that realm of Arabic music theory, Persian music theory, Turkish music theory. You'll go all over the place with that. But it's hard to find their work translated in English. But you can start there, definitely. Question, can I learn with your course about scales, microtonal, Persian, Iran, Turkey music without an oud? It would be difficult to do it without an oud, Fabio. It might help, but you won't gain everything from it unless you have an instrument that you can try to play the music on. However, you could try doing it with your voice. If you learn how to sing these melodies in copying my oud playing, that might work. So I would definitely recommend to try to get an instrument that can play these microtonalities prior to getting the course or a course. Yeah. Question from Gilcorn, is it possible to mix Western jazz with oud? Yeah, I think so. There are a bunch of people who do this. There are a few artists that are doing this, like Anwar Brahim, Zafar Yusuf. These guys are doing this. A friend of mine from Vancouver, Gord Gordina, He's doing some avant-garde-ish kind of thing. If I don't know the subgenre but definitely it's definitely not what you expect to hear on the oud, for sure. And let's see who else here. It is possible, but it's not really. It's not really. You're not really gonna cater to the strengths of the oud if you try to play Western jazz music on it. It wasn't designed for that, and the oud is all about really the sound and the warmth. You can do it, but I mean, it's not just not going to really, accent the strengths of the oud. It was more for this traditional music, maqam music. Better for that, but it can be done. All right. Oh, Fabio, if you have an acoustic fretless guitar, then you can definitely learn these things. Definitely, yeah. Yeah, there's no problem. There's a lot of fretless guitar players who are playing this music. One of my students, he's learning takasim with me, and he's playing everything on a fretless guitar. No problem. He's playing really beautifully, learning all the modalities and everything quite nicely with a fretless guitar. Works just fine. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, we'll give another couple minutes, then I'll let you go. So yeah, thanks so much for joining. I hope you learned a lot here. I hope that you'll really pay attention to these stroke patterns that I mentioned. It's really the core practice of the right hand can be defined by those three methods that I mentioned. And by mastering those those methods, you're going to be unstoppable on the oud, for sure. That's what I think. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again for joining. Wait a couple minutes and we'll be done. Okay, I'll bring out another oud here so you can hear another oud. Change Risha here. So how long will it take me to learn the notes if I apply myself? Learning notes is not really that difficult. There's lots of free YouTube videos that will help you learn how to read music. Should be nothing stopping you from that. I think I've had some students, adults, who have learned how to read music, at least the basics, like within a month. They're reading and learning how to play, learning how to play and read music at the same time. Within a month, you should be able to get some of the basics down and do it. It's just, the first thing is just memorizing. And then it just takes, some practice every day and you can do it. Oh yeah, maybe I do have a reverb on right now. Let me check my filter here. No, I don't have any reverb right now. No, it's just a normal oud. Yeah, it sounds really nice. I like it. This is in Turkish tuning right now, so it's very bright. Alright, so thanks so much for joining me, guys. If you have any questions, again, my email address is support@OudforGuitarists.com. Thanks so much again for joining. It was nice to hear your questions, and I hope you learned something today. And check out the links to those artists I mentioned, and Easy Oud Songs Volume 1 and Easy Oud Songs Volume 2 coming out next month. Alright, thanks so much. Have a good one.